Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 195, and I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Morgan Hartfeld. Good evening, Morgan.
Hey, Matt. Hey, team. Hey, Tom, producer Tom in the back there. How's everybody doing this week?
First up, Merry Christmas to you and yours, and compliments of the season to yourself and everybody else in chat. How are we all doing? Are you set for the festive holidays?
Am I set? Well, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. I've done a bit of shopping here and there, so I've picked up a few items. I've done my Secret Santa. I've received my Secret Santa, and I see other people in the Secret Santa group chat have also received theirs. A lot of happy people. So
yes, absolutely. I was one of those happy people who today received my Secret Santa. And inside of it is one of the nicest discs I've seen, which is this Vapor Kitty. It's a Disc Golf Valley disc. It's a Brave, and I've recently started throwing a Brave as my go-to driver, honestly, which will make a lot of people.
I didn't realize it's a Disc Golf Valley disc. That's sick. The print, as you mean.
Yeah, it's a deco dye one. It's Disc Golf Valley down the bottom there. You can see. You might be able to see if a camera.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
So yeah, real nice. And so I'm looking forward. That's going straight in the bag, not hanging this one or doing anything silly with it. Just it's going to do what it was meant to do.
Speaking of Disc Golf Valley, the room ID, Matt, is just at the top of the page.
It is
C8ZU. So get in there, guys. We want to see these results coming through. At the back end
absolutely, absolutely. We've got a packed show today. We're going to go first up. We're going to go through hot scores. Then we're going to go through the results of the Rapper Rumble, and then we've got a duck race. I think, Morgan. Do you want to talk to us a little bit more about what that's about? Because that's a bit of a new thing
for sure. I mean, as far as I go, I just got asked if I could run a waffle or a race of some sort for Ephraim Russell's Christmas mystery box that he's done. Well, not really a mystery box. The Christmas box he's done over on the NZ Buy Sell page. It's 6 New Zealand RPM discs. It was only $20 to get in. I think we're going to cut entries now because producer Tom has got the names listed up at the bottom there. So Ephraim, if you're watching, we're done now, please, brother. And yeah, so that's part of the show tonight. Looking forward to doing that. That's the first time we'll do one of those.
So we'll go through what those people win, right? You know all of that.
Yeah, 6 RPM discs.
Oh wow! Okay, well, we've got some nice images to show people.
We do. We'll show that when the time comes.
We're going to play a bit of Disc Golf Valley, and announce the winners of the CHAINIES.
Yes,
the most anticipated award show of the year. I think pretty much universally. Not just confined within disc golf. I mean,
I think so.
Broadly across every kind of category, right? Most people.
I mean, Tom was saying,
are looking forward to tonight. Is that's their big day. Red carpet, tux, all of it. Put your finery on, whatever. So yeah, we've got the results from that later on. Also, then we're going to go through the power rankings. Who is going to be in the number one spot for the end of 2024? We'll have a look through that, and also talk through what our Christmas plans are. Like, when are we going to be back? We will. Spoiler alert: we won't have a show next week. It's Boxing Day, and we shall be away with our families doing stuff. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Morgan, hot scores to begin, and take us through the South.
Righto, let's kick it off down in the South for the final time of 2024. And we're none other than the Queen of the South, Alison Tweedy, shooting 14 down this week, Matt, to take the hot score at Invercargill's Queen's Park. Chingford Reserve, Stephen Smith with a 5 under par. Kelvin Cummings, we see him every week these days. He's absolutely put his name up on the leaderboard almost every single week this year. 5 under par gets the job done for him at Brockville. Queenstown Gardens and Flickmaster Mikey Yu, the double champ, Aussie and New Zealand champion, has come through with a 17. That's right, I said a 17 under par at the Gardens course this week. 10 down for Mundo McDisc over at Lismore, another person that we seem to have just heard almost every week throughout the whole show season. killing it. It's 10 under down at 10 under down, 10 down at Lismore. And then we're going to head up to Jelly Park in Christchurch, where Sam Page gets the job done, also at 10 under par. 9 down for Gregory Suckling at Warren Park. Smallbone Reserve is KBG, another echo within the showroom here. He gets the job done with a 14 down, once again, over at Smallbone. Queen's Park Reserve in Cullum this week with a 22, 5 under par. Dave Colan with a 1 under par at Saxton Field, and rounding out the South for the final time this year. At Brantford Park, we have Mr. Alex Batten with a 15 under par. Huge scores to finish out the week down in the South, mate. Hopefully they did the same up in the North.
They certainly did. Starting off in the capital, Brady Cush and Pedro hit 5 under par in the hills. And a new name for us here, Koi shooting 2 under is Pale Peter Lindegaard with a hot score there. Ben Morrison. It does it. Ben Morrison hits the hot score at Harcourt Park with a 7 under par, and his nephew Johnny Wake hits 10 under par at Linklater. Across to Maryland's, it's Jason Mallion who hits 3 down. Dane Sales goes through Spa Park Black unscathed at evens, and up at Henderson, Jackson Sullivan hits Henderson for 9 under par for him. Richard Barnes goes through Wood Hill at 3 under par, and finally rounding out the hot scores for 2024, Nicholas Goldner hits 7 under par at Rosedale. Well done to everybody there. I think next show, Morgan, what we should try and do for the old first show back is try and do one for the whole of 2024, right? So hot scores.
I like that.
Hot scores for the whole year, whole of the previous year. Mm-hmm. So you mean what it means, everyone, is that you've got about 12 days to go and try and shoot a hot score or whatever the closest course or whatever is near you, or if you're going away, try and snag it in someone else's backyard. So yeah, that's coming up. We'll try and do that. And what it involves is me remembering on New Year's Eve to go and do the scores. So I may need to get producer Tom or yourself, Morgan, to send me a reminder for that.
Copy that. Tom, note that one down, please.
And of course, there's every chance that I won't remember, but we should see what we can do. And yeah, I think a hot score for the whole of 2024 might be good. I think there'll be some familiar names on it, but we'll see. We'll see. Right. Next up is the Rapper Rumble, which took place last weekend. This weekend just gone. Morgan, I played.
How did you fare, Matt? How did you fare?
Right. Can I just say it was scorching? So picture this, if you will. Have you been to Henley Lake before?
I have not had the privilege just yet.
So what does it remind me of? What course kind of down south does it remind me of? So course-wise, it reminds me a little bit like... so it's got the kind of... I'm going to do it in... I can't really do it justice. It's a park golf course, right? But there's trees, but there's not really any wooded holes as such. Okay. You know, there's not any kind of ones where you play and it's just jail all the way. But there's enough trees to be able to find shade throughout the day, pretty much, but except for a little stretch on the back, on the back 9 and 10. But otherwise, there's a good bit of challenge out there, and it's a brilliant course. Honestly, I love it. And it was scorching, like 28 degrees both days, very little cloud. It was a little bit cool on the Saturday morning, and there was a little bit of wind about, but really nothing to write home about. And it was scorching, absolutely scorching. And as you can see from the results, it was an upset at the top of MPO, right? Andy Davey beats Johnny Wake by 4 shots. Now, I think it is noteworthy that Johnny Wake was suffering with a blister on one of his throwing fingers.
Right. I did see the photo of that right on the tip, right?
Yeah, I think it was the index finger of his left hand, which is obviously quite key for gripping. And you do need if you want to get some of the birdies on at Henley Lake, you really need to be able to throw far. Now he can throw far. Now that's not to take anything away from Andy, because he played incredibly consistently well over the course of the weekend, and still managed to average nine. What's the average golf is he playing there? 975.
Yeah,
like
late 960s, maybe 970. Yep.
Yep. So I mean, really, really good, and blew everyone else away, right? So yeah, very, very good play by very good play by Andy Davey. Johnny did shoot the hottest round of the weekend, which was a 10.34 rated third round, which ended up being 12 under par, which was incredibly good. The second hottest round of the weekend was thrown by Gary Jarvis, also in round 3 in MA40, and I was on his card when he did it. Right, so I got to see the 9 down, and
1001 rated, boom,
1001 rated. It was great. It was really, really good to watch. Really, really good to watch. It just became metronomic at the end of it. Brett and I were talking. He was on the card as well, and we were just like, tee shot after tee shot would just be park job, park job, park job. We were just like, we were getting nowhere even close. But anyway, let's go through the full results. Andy Davey.
Before we go through it, were all of the divisions playing the same layout?
That's right. They were. All the divisions played the white city layout, I think it was called. So,
right, so spicy MA1 scores coming in too.
So there were some spicy MA1 scores, and as we've been seeing recently, the overlap between MA1 and MPO is quite significant. And a lot of the top players in MA1, so the top 3 in MA1 would have finished 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in MPO. So I think that's noteworthy. And so let's go through the full results, and you'll be able to you'll be able to see. Andy Davey beats Johnny Wake by 4 shots, and then Carson Boone in 3rd. Josh Pratt, who got off to a slow start, I was on that card for his 893 round, and he would have kicked himself, honestly, because I could tell when we started. I've not played with Josh before, but when we started teeing off, I could tell that he was better than he was playing. And he shot +3 in that first round. So I mean, the rest of the rounds he was out there shooting 3 down, and on the round he played with me, he shot +3. So that 6-shot swing could have been the difference between him potentially challenging for second place. But anyway, well done for coming back and doing well. Michaela Kerr is. Takes out FPO, but also highest lady overall. In MP40, there was a playoff. This was very exciting. So Jung Ha left himself a bit to do after day 1. He was 6 shots back. But then Mike Foley nearly gave it all back to him on the first round of the second day, and then did just enough to hang on in the 4th round, and then won via a playoff. They both parred the first hole of the playoff, and then unfortunately Jung threw OB on the 2nd hole. And
in the background on our Sweet Chain tipping that we're working on, Jung was quite the favourite for that too, wasn't he?
He was. This was before Les joined the conversation. I think Les was a late entry, but yeah, Jung was the favourite here, having beaten Mike Foley previously a few times, and so if you had tipped Mike Foley to win this one, then you would have gone home with a few more coins than you came with. Over down into MA1, and Ben Morrison. Very well done, Ben Morrison. Shoots a 18 under par. He would have finished tied with Johnny Wake for 2nd place in MPO had he played that division. Ben's actually eligible for MA40 and MP40. So he's got a whole choice of divisions to play in, but very well done to Ben. Matt Broughton, local to Henley Lake, shoots 13 down, and Dan Pickerskill from Wellington shoots 11. In FA1, Hannah Edmonds takes this one out. I was on Hannah's card for the second round, and she has got a cannon of an arm. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. Hole 10, one of the hardest holes at Henley Lake. It's a par 4 that runs along the edge of the river that feeds into the lake. It's a par 4. It's a 200-meter par 4, mind. I get nowhere near it because I can't throw far at all. But her second shot on that, where she hit the birdie, she must have thrown 110 meters easy.
Wow,
easy. Ended up probably middle of circle 2 and just drained the step putt. Yeah, really good to see. So well done to Hannah. Caitlin McLeod stepping up from the juniors, finishing with a plus 33. Very good score for Caitlin there. And into MA40, Gary Jarvis just took everybody's money. Honestly, he just took everybody's lunch in this division. It was silly. Over the course of the tournament, he beat everybody by a significant number of shots at least once, which was enough to give him an 11-shot lead. I was fortunate enough to be on the same card as him in the
final round.
In the third round and the fourth round. It was a really good old farts card that we had for the round 3. We had Gary, Phil, myself, and Brett. And then in round 4, we were joined by Mason, who's a fellow Wellingtonian. It was real good fun.
Did you notice the comment in the YouTube chat here? Brett Carlisle going to call out your fellow old farts as sandbaggers.
Well, so Ben Morrison is an old fart and could have finished second in MPO. We've called this is it an anomaly? I don't know if it's an anomaly, but this pattern of overlap between MA1 and MPO before. So it's happened again. He's not the only one. There were others in MA1 who also placed well enough to score well in MPO.
But you also did say that he is eligible to play MA40, and
that's
he's
right,
staying down there with the young bucks. So
that's right. But he would have won MP40 by 9 strokes, right? So if you want to look at it that way, Gary is eligible for every division that was offered with the exception of MJ15, and is in fact eligible for every division up to MA60. So he has a real decision to make when it comes to things like nationals and North Island champs and stuff. So interesting to see what he does. I don't recall what he's playing in nationals. I have to look that up. But but look, let's just talk about his play for a moment, because it was very good. He's a local, so he lives in Greytown, plays the course quite often, and I would say his first 2 rounds, although I wasn't on the same card as him, are probably his pretty normal kind of scoring rounds, right? 2 or 3 under par,
sure,
just sort of going through the motions almost, and then pulls out 9 under, and which was incredible, especially in the heat we were playing in as well. We're all trying to find shade, drinking heaps of water and stuff. And by the time round 4 came along, he had some silly lead by this point. I think he had what did he win by 11 strokes? He had a 9-stroke lead going into the 3rd round.
Wow.
Into the 4th round, sorry. And so by that time, it was kind of a
done deal.
Yeah,
almost.
Very much so. Especially.
Yeah. He's playing MA40 at nationals.
Oh, lovely. So he could have stepped up, but didn't. Chose not to. I think that's because he likes to play the long tees, and there's more chance that MA40 will play long tees than MA50 or MA60. Yeah. So I think that's the reason.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's and with good reason as well. He's got a very strong drive. Has played Ultimate for years at the very top level, and has coached Ultimate at the very top level. New Zealand.
Did he come into the game like similar time as you with your Ultimate background?
Yeah, a bit later. I have to say he probably threw his first disc golf disc way earlier than me, but in terms of playing regularly in sanctioned events, he came in slightly later than me. However, has been playing Ultimate since before I was born, probably. So yeah, quite a significant amount of experience there. Phil McLeod comes in second with -1, and kind of on his own for to some degree in second place, finishing 11 shots short of the leader and 13 shots ahead of myself and Mark Clement, who tied for third. I have to say I enjoyed the battle that I had with Mason and Brett in the sort of back stretch there. I had to fend off a charging Mason. And yeah, it was an interesting battle.
Good to see you up there on the podium, but I think they call Phil's situation no man's land, right?
Yeah, that's
just
right. That's right.
Fending off just enough, really, just trying to keep the lead for that second place at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, I was pretty happy with a third, although honestly, I don't think it's because I played particularly well, right? So I was. My first round was I think quite poor. I made two errors, two judgmental errors, and about 5 or 6 execution errors, and then picked up a couple of bonus birdies. So that's how my +5 came out.
Yeah,
the judgmental errors reduced, and I maybe only made 2, one in the final round, and maybe 2 in the round before, and a smaller amount on round 2. And so so then after that it's execution errors. And execution errors is you're doing the right thing. You're trying to your kind of your intention was correct for your ability. You just didn't pull it off. And yeah, so running it with death behind when you're when you don't necessarily need to is an example of a judgmental error, right? But whereas
that's the most fun when it goes in, isn't it?
Well, it is, right? It is, right? But if you miss it, then that's on you, right? It's on you. Now there is grey lines between judgmental and execution as I see it, and for everybody it's different. But for me, over the weekend, I considered my execution errors to still be there. They're a lot less than Harkle Park, a lot less, which was great. And I've just got to keep practicing and trying to get as many rounds in as I can before February and Nationals comes around, because the game's definitely improving. It's just slowly improving, and so we'll try and get some in over Christmas, and we'll see what we can do. Down in FA40, Kath Headley takes out second overall of all the ladies. Jason Sarney in MA50. He's a local Wellingtonian, or Upper Hushian. Is that how you say?
Yeah.
Upper Hushian. Upper Huttite.
I have had the privilege of meeting Jason Sarney. He came down and played Oha a couple of years back. He took home one of the trophies. Yeah,
great guy. Normally he's got Buzz walking around with him, which is his dog, the most chilled dog you'll ever meet. And but he took out the win in MA50 over Galal Brizzo, so well done to them. Debbie Mills won FA50 quite comfortably. Cannon Larson wins in MA2 over Ezra Robinson. Ezra, great guy, and also one of the on his day, one of the hottest players that you'll see, right? And this is actually a really interesting kind of thing. I don't know if you've seen some of the chat on Tour Life podcast between Brody and Paul Ulibarri at all.
I have, yep.
Yeah. So recently they've been talking about how disc golf ratings are different to golf handicaps, in that golf handicaps really only account for the best sort of 20% or so of your rounds, whereas disc golf rankings take into account all your rounds, so the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And Ezra would be rated way higher if you just took his top 20%, because he's got a very wide range of possible things that could happen, right? Whereas, for example, I'm the opposite. My range is incredibly narrow, and so my disc golf rating would be very similar to my golf rating. Whereas Ezra is someone with a very, very wide range. And we can see it here, right? 100 ratings points separates round 3 and round 4 for him. So he shot an 8.56 on Sunday morning and then has some lunch or whatever and shoots 8 shots better in the afternoon to almost catch up Cannon. So well done to Cannon for winning that. Megan Gray holds off Katie Hoffman in FA2 to take out the win, and Totopa Atua Pofari wins by 6 shots over Zachary Sterling Beatty in MA3. Down to the junior division, Zach Moore wins here with a score of plus 16. Very strong 941 rated round 2. So yeah,
well over 100 points over his rating. So yeah, well done to him.
Indeed. Shout out to Mark Clement, who ran the event very well. It's a lovely course. It's a great event. This is always in the calendar for me. And the great thing about it is that we get to come back in March and do it all again. There's 2 events run at Masterton at Henley Lake, and the one in March is a little bit different. And Morgan, if you ever are or thinking about travelling up this way, then I encourage you to try and twin it up with this event. Is that we play an extra 9 holes around I think it's the north and eastern edge of the lake. So there's a water carry that's always interesting and always a bit of fun. We don't have too much water carry in the middle of the country, and so
I'm gonna make a real effort to get up to see you and the rest of the crew up in Wellies next year. Like, I really want to do that. It's been on the list for a long time, and just got to make it happen, really. So
Excellent.
Let's just pencil that one in.
Excellent. Yes. Well, it's called the Disctopia. Is the name of the event in March, and you play an extra 9 holes, so 27 holes, and you play 3 rounds of 27. So 81.
What date is that in March? Do you know?
Oh, it's on our list. I couldn't tell you off the top of my
that's right. We've obviously got the Queenstown Classic in March, which is going to take up most of my weekends that month.
It's the same weekend as Paradise Plates, so the week before Queenstown Classic.
Gotcha.
All right.
Nice one.
So,
all good. Yeah, well, I'll look to that for 2025, getting up to Wellytown. There's one thing I do want to shout out, one thing that's happened in the previous week or so.
Yeah.
Not many people here will know him. You'll probably know of him, but Derek Robbins, the PDJ Hall of Famer, owner-operator of Quarry Park Disc Golf over in the UK, got married this week to Louisa Bartholomew, who is the PDGA director in the Philippines. So two powerhouses coming together and just got married out in the Philippines. So
congratulations
to them. I know there's a number of people that will be in the chat that do know them. So yeah, if you see it on their social media, give them a shout out, because that's amazing news. Congratulations to them.
Fantastic, and a lovely time of year to get married.
Stunning.
Right. We've got a duck race to do, I think is up next. Let's just talk us through what it's all about, Morgan, because
yeah, cool. Yeah. So like most of you guys all know, if not everyone here knows, that we have a New Zealand disc golf buy sell page where you can go and sell your discs, buy other people's discs, do trades for other discs, and not just discs, anything disc golf related. Basically, this page has been around for a very good few years now. Has a lot of members, gets a lot of traction. There's a few different ways you can buy and sell. This one here is a waffle as such. If you know, you know. And there's X amount of tickets sold for this waffle, and we're going to do it in a duck race style for this show, and the winner of that duck race is going to win the discs that are for sale here, or for waffle. And they're coming on screen right now.
There's some nice discs in here, Morgan. Hey, talk us through what's in it?
Now, I have to be honest, I didn't get a chance to study and have a look at exactly what they are, but there's 6 obviously custom RPM discs there. They're pretty beautiful, aren't they?
They do look nice. That'll be their, what's they called? What do they call their super swirly ones? Platinums?
Yeah, so we've got a Kahu, a Tara Iti, a Pika Pika, a Kotoku, a Kia, and a yellow Takapu.
Oh, the full set. Plus your yellow Takapu, eh?
So it's the 4 wins package by the looks of it. to 4
Right.
wins with 6 discs. There we go.
Oh, wow,
That's as
okay.
much information as
Very
I have,
good.
team.
And so,
And you know what?
if people wanted to do this, then I see. So if people wanted to do this, it's too late now. They can't enter now. But I mean,
they had to have bought tickets since the start of December. This has been out since like the 11th of December. It did not fill. I don't know why. Honestly, I'm not always on that page because I try not to buy discs, because if I turn the camera around, you'd just laugh. It's ridiculous what's happening over there. In saying that, I did just buy a mystery box from Discmania, which was far more expensive than buying a $20 ticket into this waffle.
Right. Well, okay. So come on then. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Who's in? Who have we got?
Right. Tom's got the list up on screen here. So he's doing a 30-second duck race. If you could just go to the edit list names, we've got Johnny Wake, we've got the West Side of Woodville, Hannah Emmons, Philip Aiken, Mark Paku, Arne Burgess, Malachi, Devin Taylor, Andrew Falconer, and another West Side of Woodville to round out the bottom there. So, without further ado, would you mind going onto the duck screen and just shuffling those a few times, Tom? Maybe 6 or 7 times?
Shuffle those ducks.
Shuffle those ducks. Now, Matt, you do love
go.
the commentated duck race, so I might leave this one down to you.
I do love a duck race.
All right, then, Tom, please, in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Here it comes. Okay, pretty flat start from everybody involved here. Philip Aitken by a nose, and West Side of Woodville for tasting up in third. Michaela Typer-Smith in the bottom, and Arne Burgess on the bottom rail coming through. Philip Aitken still leading. West Side of Woodville in second and third. Devin Taylor chasing. Andrew Faulkner coming through. Arne Burgess on the bottom rail coming in. Now, is he going to make a dash for the finish? Looks like Arne Burgess by a nose. And the winner is Arne Burgess, who takes out the victory there. So congratulations to Arne.
Well done, Burgess, mate. You commentating on that was music to my ears. I loved that.
That's fantastic. Very well done to Arne for winning that. So
Ephraim Russell will be in touch with you, Burge, and he'll get you those discs sorted. Burge will be stoked, because I wasn't going to say this, but because he's won something on the show, I might as well. I took $20 off him today. Smashed him at bowls.
Oh, did you?
Smashed him. Yeah. He tried to have a late comeback, but I couldn't allow
it. Okay. You and Craig saying it's rigged. Of course. That's that. Right. Let's play some disc duel, shall we? Let's get into that. Morgan, you gonna go first?
I went first last week, Matt.
Okay. So I shall go first then, and let's go with. Okay, so Gary was who I was on the same card with as on over the weekend a lot. He threw his destroyer quite a bit, so let's kick us off with a destroyer, shall we? Oh, boom, shake the room. Look at this. That's outrageous, isn't it? Now then, what can we do from here? Who knows? A non-Innova disc. Not Innova, but those numbers.
12.5 minus 1.3. Is that what a... Is that what a... I can tell you, I can have a quick look at this beautiful arrive I got in my Secret Santa.
Yeah, does that one got the numbers on there?
And I can tell you that it does not have the numbers on
it. DD3, Craig Likens calling out. That sounds pretty good to me.
Run it, DD3, Mr. Tom.
A Zeus. Oh.
Wow. So it's not that manufacturing. That is quite hectic.
A Zeus is what we're hearing as well. Is falls into that.
I would have sworn a Zeus was flippier than that. A Zeus is.
So, oh my word! So it's not a Discraft, not Discmania, and not Innova, right? So it's a trilogy.
What's an octane?
An octane. That's MVP. It could be. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the numbers. Do you?
Can I run an octane, please? It might be one faster. but I got to try some stuff here.
It is, but
yeah.
Hang on, because we've got the yellow cross, right, which means it's part of the MVP
Axiom.
family. And I don't think Streamliner in it, so
it's just Axiom.
So it's an Axiom. What's that? Yeah, I was going to say time lapse.
Oh, time lapse.
Is that the Lizotte?
Yeah.
Jobber?
Yeah, it's a Simon Destroyer.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Mr. Craig Lycan. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
There it is. There it is.
Well done, Craig Lycan. Thank you very much.
Very well done.
Oh, this is going to be embarrassing from Brett Carlisle.
Okay, now we're going to head over to Disc Golf Valley. We've had the code up in the top corner for the course of the show, so hopefully
there's only a couple of people there, though, isn't there? Maybe we leave that up. Maybe we leave that going.
There's a few. There is more people.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Who've we got then? Sorry. So, Arn with 4 down, Kelvin with 4 down, Magnatros, is that Magnus, I guess, was 6 down. Who else have we got? Marie with 4 down. Magnatros wins with a 6 under par, so very well done. Very well done to him. Right. Right, I suppose we ought to get on. Yeah, let's quickly go through power rankings, and then we'll come back and do the Chainies at the very end. In this week's power rankings, ladies first, Michaela Kerr moves up 3 spots to 2nd in the country, and Kath Haley moves up 1 spot to 9th. Also, a bit further down, Caitlin McLeod moves up 2 spots to 19th.
I have a question, actually. I actually have a question on that.
Okay.
Michaela absolutely deserves to be right up there. My question is based around, she was the only one in a division. So obviously she won. So winning, does that affect that?
Okay, it's a great question. And I'll go through this a little bit more detail when the power rankings are available to everybody on our new website, which will be launching in the new year. But it doesn't matter what division you play. Okay, what happens? The way that this works is whether you play MPO or MA1 or MJ15 or whatever division it is, your tournament rating, so which is the mean average of the rounds that you played in the tournament, is compared or ranked against everybody else who played in the tournament that is of the same gender, right? So the first letter of the division, so M or F, right? And then what happens is what the power rankings use is they use a factor called dominance, and your dominance is basically the number that ranges from about 4 point something down to about -3. It's in that kind of range. And if you have a high dominance, then it basically your expectation of winning is higher. And if you have a lower dominance than someone else, then your expectation of winning is lower. And it's those comparing dominances which then allow the tipping odds to be calculated. And what the power rankings do is when they get the results of the tournament, they compare the results of the tournament against the dominance values and go, okay, this person who shot really well has got a lower dominance than this person, so their new dominance should be a lot higher. And so as a result, for example, if you lose to somebody who's highly rated, who's got a very high dominance, then your dominance value will go down by a lower amount than if you lose to someone who has got a lower dominance than you. Okay, so it's all kind of scaled in that way, in the same way that like chess rankings, it's kind of similar to how chess rankings work, but on a multiplayer, many players versus many players, whereas chess rankings are done like individual to individual. So it's done a bit like that. So the reason Michaela is is moving up, even though she played in the division on her own, is that she still competed against all of the other ladies, and her dominance is very tight at the top of the FPO division. By the way, I don't print the dominance values on part of the power rankings, and there's good reasons for that. But it's very tight at the top of FPO, honestly, and we've actually seen that borne out in the results as well. When it comes to it, especially when it comes to nationals, where a lot of these ladies are going to be playing, it's going to be incredibly difficult to be able to pick out who the winner is of these ladies when we see most of them compete down in Christchurch, right? At the top of the MPO field, it's a slightly different story in terms of gaps at the top. Levi is quite a bit ahead of everybody else, and then Francis is a little bit ahead of everybody else, and then Johnny Wake's got a little gap to Jackson, but that gap has been reduced because Andy Davey cut that back, and is actually a new entry this week in at number 5, having beaten Johnny and the rest of the field this weekend. Elsewhere, Josh Pratt drops 3 spaces from 19 down to 22. We talked about his first round, and Young Ha drops 4 spaces from 21 down to 25. And so that's the hot scores as at the end of 2024. We'll be updating those as we go into the new year as well. There's the power rankings for now. Right, in terms of upcoming events, there are no upcoming events until, or indeed sanctioned events, until Egg Monster, which is the first sanctioned event of the year, which is on the 9th and 10th of, the 10th to 12th of January, and that's being held in Inglewood. So there's still plenty of spaces left in that tournament if you want to get yourself involved and go and play in that tournament over in Taranaki. But now we're going to move on to the Chainies, which is the Sweet Chain Awards for the end of this year. Right, we're going to start with the big one. Now, Morgan, you don't know the results of these, eh?
I do not know the results. I asked if you could just keep that from me so I can get a genuine reaction to everything. A genuine reaction, rather.
What you're seeing from Morgan is his genuine, raw emotion. However that might be. Here are your nominations for Male Player of the Year. We had Levi Stout, Francis Orange, Johnny Wake, and Ethan Stout were the nominees, and the winner of the Male Player of the Year in the Chainies this year was, drum roll please, Levi Stout. Congratulations to Levi. Levi took out the vote this year with 49% of the vote.
49%, fantastic.
Francis Orange finishes second with 33%. So between them, they pretty much cleared up most of the votes there. So well done to them. And I think for the most part, that's pretty in line with the kind of tournaments they were playing. They were very dominant. Levi played incredibly well throughout the whole of 2024. I heard from him a few weeks ago. He's chomping at the bit, waiting for the start of next year and the various events that are coming to New Zealand. So, it's going to be.
Not going to lie, Matt. I got a little excited. You said, and the Male Player of the Year, and it transitioned to just us. And I was like, yes. It's you and me. We did it.
It is. Morgan Hardefeld wins. No. Unfortunately not. But yeah. So, moving on to Female Player of the Year. The nominations here were Hayley Flintoff, Michaela Kerr, Michelle Simpson, and Alison Tweedy.
Very interested in this one, and I do not know which way it's going to go.
It's
not a clue.
The FPO division is so tight at the moment. It's so close.
Yep.
Gone are the days where you had one or two ladies dominating, right? We had a long period of time in New Zealand disc golf where one or two ladies would win every tournament they entered, right? It was Hayley most recently. You had Leanna for about 18 months, and then you had Gemma obviously before Hayley.
Yep. I was just thinking about this back when we were on the power rankings, and I see Hayley is down in 5th place now. And just looking at some of those names, and I've been playing disc golf for quite a long time now, and sort of only just starting to see some of these names appear in the last couple of years, really, and already right at the tippy top.
Yeah, it's incredible. Really, really good for the ladies division, because it really going to show that you can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you put the work in, you can get the results. And actually, the people who we're seeing at the top are people putting the work in, which is fantastic to see. The winner of the Female Player of the Year with 59% of the vote is Alison Tweedy. Congratulations to Alison. The next best competitor got 18% of the vote. So she won that.
Called it earlier, mate. Queen of the South. She cemented it with that 14 under par this week.
So well done to Alison for picking that up. Won a whole bunch of events over the course of the year, starting in juniors. And then after playing Junior Worlds, stepped up to FA1s and FPOs, and I'm sure that we'll see her at nationals competing against some very strong ladies. So yeah, it's going to be great to see. Across to Male Player of the Year, Male Junior, Player of the Year. The nominations here were Bailey Gardner, Connor Ransom, Magnus Davidson.
Yep.
Small point here. We had a few messages, come in about Sam Lycan and Ty Engelke. And it's worth saying that whilst they were considered, they weren't put in as Junior of the Year because they didn't play many junior events, right?
Yep.
So I don't think Sam played any. Ty played one. Whereas all of the other juniors played at least more than one event in the junior division. Now it's likely that we won't see Magnus in a junior division again. I suspect maybe nationals, or if he goes overseas to play, then perhaps we will. But as tends to be the case, they get to a point where, and in Magnus's case, they win a major in MA1, and so really you're going to go back to playing juniors in the next C tier? Probably not. We'll see. But this one was a little bit tighter. The winner of Male Junior of the Year with 48% of the vote was Magnus Davidson. So congratulations to Magnus.
Well done, Magnus.
His game has really taken off this year. So it's really great to see. He's and as I said, I don't think we'll see him again in a junior division.
You just can't do it once you've won a Cheney, Matt. You just can't.
Is that it? Is it like that's the winning a major?
That's the hard line.
That's the line. That's the line.
That's
right.
The line.
On to Female Junior of the Year. We had two nominations here. Sarah Wadsworth, who picked up her 2 times World Championship in the year, and Alison Tweedy, who played the vast majority of the start of this year in the junior division. And the winner of Female Junior Player of the Year with 61% of the vote was Alison Tweedy. So congratulations to Alison winning both the Female Junior and the Female Player of the Year. Has just cleaned up. It's going to be really exciting to see what happens in 2025 with Alison, honestly. She's got every chance. She could just come in and dominate everybody. And she could be that next player, that next Hayley, that next Gemma who comes in and just wins things consistently for
I think she absolutely will be. And I know I just talked about the hard line in the sand, but I do know for a fact that she is staying in FA1 for probably the next couple of years, allowing the body to grow, as she gets older, not putting too much stress and pressure on herself and her body, taking the steps as they should be taken when you really want to be a high-level athlete.
Yep. I mean, FA1 often will play different layouts to FPO, so that makes sort of sense there. Maybe not wanting to push the body into throwing those kind of distances too much too quickly, so it makes total sense. And of course, she's still competing against those ladies in FPO. I mean, it's not going to go unnoticed, I'm sure, even by herself, that of how her scores and ratings are comparing. So yeah. Now we're going to go through to breakout player of the year. So this one was an interesting one. We left this one up to you. So you could have said anything. People could have submitted any name they like to this one. We gave a few ideas of who it might be based on some stats that we pulled at the end of the previous episode. A lot of people got nominated here. Lots of different nominations. How many different nominations did we have? We had 31 different people nominated, right? 31 different people nominated.
That's awesome.
One person got 36% of the vote.
Wow.
So which is 2.5 times more. 3.5 times more than the next highest percentage. And so the winner of Breakout Player of the Year was Kelvin Cummings. Well done to Kelvin Cummings. He we talked about it last week. He climbed something like 150 rankings spots this past year, and his game has improved an incredible amount since this time last year. So congratulations to Kelvin. Also worth saying that off the course, Kelvin does a huge amount of work for disc golf.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. NZDG board.
NZDG board.
That work
Disc Golf Dunedin
down south.
Exactly. So I'm quite glad that he's won it, because it's kind of gives us an opportunity to talk a little bit about that kind of contribution as well. And so yeah, absolutely, very, very deserving of a Cheney, and yeah, fantastic to see that it's come through, and that's worked out how it has. But yeah, we sent out the form, and on it there was separate sections for your award, which allowed people to submit their own awards for whoever they want. And Kelvin's name came up a lot in those responses. I'll read out some of the ones that got Kelvin's name. Champion of Youth, Kelvin Cummings. Where else are we? Spirit of Disc Golf, Kelvin Cummings, and Youth Volunteer, Kelvin Cummings. So yeah, he got quite a few mentions as well. That was really,
fantastic.
Really good to see.
As he should.
And now we come to the award. To some respects, is the most coveted of the awards. I don't know. I might be wrong in saying that. Maybe the people who have received it in the past couldn't care less. But I would say possibly it's the most coveted, which is Tournament of the Year. Again, voted for by the people voting on this form, of which we had over 100 people voting. So this was a statistically significant survey. And we had lots of different tournaments nominated. In total, we had 24 different tournaments were nominated.
Holy.
Right. And this one was a lot closer. This one was a lot closer to award out. So the winner of Tournament of the Year 2024 is a tie. Okay.
Holy.
It's a tie, and there's two tournaments that have stood out here. The two previous tournaments that did well last year, GCO and Southern Smash, came in 3rd and 4th.
Interesting.
So the two tournaments that tied, and we were just talking about this before. It's a joint award, right? This award will go to both tournaments. We're not going to try and settle it by, I don't know, some ridiculous like
duck race
straws or whatever. Yeah, something silly like a duck race. We're just going to award it to both tournaments, right? The first tournament was held at quite close to the start of this year, and is the Topol Classic. So very well done to the Topol Classic guys. They do an absolutely fantastic job. I know that they're a big. We're big supporters of what the guys in Topol do, and the stuff that they put on for the club and the North Island and New Zealand disc golf in general. And the Topol Classic was a fantastic event, held on brilliant property. As we know, one of the top 100 disc golf courses in the world, and yeah,
absolutely deserved.
Did incredibly well. So well done to Topol Classic for taking out the award, and tied with them the award for best tournament of the year goes to Wahitapu. So congratulations to well done to everybody there. Morgan, you've got your Wahitapu shirt on. Which is
check that out.
Which is very
Let's
apt.
go.
Which is very apt. So well done, Morgan. Both tournaments received a significant amount of the vote, but were both tied. Could not be separated. So very well done to the Topol Classic and Wahitapu for taking out.
Thanks very much for voting, everybody. That means a lot, especially that last one. And big ups to all the other winners.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for voting. And look, it's kind of we've come to the end of the show, Morgan, and we've come to the end of the year. So look, I the few people that that I want to say thank you to, but before I do, is there anyone that you need to shout out?
Yeah, I mean, I'll shout out Burgess for one. Obviously, he steps in and fills my shoes for me when I'm not available, which is very much appreciated, and he does a very good job. You obviously had another couple of co-hosts on throughout the year, so a big thank you to those guys too. And just big thanks to you for doing the show. You and Tom do all of the hard work for the show. I just show up here every week and try and tidy myself up as best as can, and we chat a bit of this and a bit of that, and
shoot the shit.
I like that. I'm not a big stats guy. You're a big stats guy. I like to go a little bit off the cuff and just sort of take the punches as they roll. That's how I like it. So thank you to you and Tom for putting in a hell of a lot of work with this show.
Well, that's very kind, and that's something that I also want to echo back is a huge thank you to yourself for joining us, for co-hosting the whole year. It's been real great to have your insights and your experience and your chat and your banter, and also huge thanks to producer Tom,
yes,
who has sometimes, most of the time, silently in the background been making sure that things have been whirring away, but I think that the crowd have enjoyed when he has popped up on stream. So we'll have to try and make sure that happens a little bit more in the future.
Absolutely.
Oh no,
he's left.
Yeah. So we'll have to see if that happens. If that happens a little bit later on. I'd also like to thank my wife for allowing me to keep doing this every Thursday night and sort of taking up the time. We're going to share some of the other awards that were given out or requested, if you like, in the Chainies, in a bit of a longer post on our Facebook, which I think would help to advertise those people a little bit more. Finally, I'd like to thank our Patreons. If you want to be involved, they do a fantastic job in supporting the show and make a huge difference to what we do. If you want to be involved, head over to patreon.com/sweetchainlive and have a little read and find out more on how you can get involved. But also, ultimately, thank you to you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in every week, or at least the weeks that you can. And
419 of you subscribe, so thank you so
much,
guys.
Indeed, if you aren't subscribed at this point, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, we'll be back in the new year on the I'll just check my dates. I've got my dates right. We'll be back on the 9th of January, right? So we're going to take 2 weeks off, and we'll be back on the 9th of January, ready to preview Egg Monster. And I think there's a Battle of the Pros thing going on down in Christchurch.
Beat the pros.
Beat the pros, which is going on down there. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more information on that. But we'll be previewing Egg Monster in the first week that we're back. Okay. So look, all that remains is for me to wish everybody compliments of the season, and have a fantastic Christmas and New Year period. Go and be merry and do all of those great things. Have some fun, and wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next year. Cheers.